Hi, good afternoon. It's Angela Lee, and I'd like to share some things on depression, and particularly because I know that there are so many people out there that's actually suffering from depression, particularly because maybe of COVID-19, or they've actually lost loved ones due to COVID-19 or due to illness. And so I want to share about depression, particularly because I've actually experienced depression and I've been able to overcome it. And I know that for some people it's all different. For many people, the process is different. But I just want to share some thoughts on depression for those that are struggling with depression. And so depression, usually it's lasting feelings of unhappiness, and so it's prolonged feelings of unhappiness and hopelessness, and so you feel completely depleted, you feel hopeless, you feel that nothing's actually going your way. You tend to lose interest in the things that you enjoy, and so if your friends invite you out for a meal or to socialise, you actually don't want to do that. You just want to curl up in a corner and just be by yourself. You're feeling, very tearful, and for some, reason you don't know why. You just tend to cry at the drop of a hat, and these are, signs that you're actually depressed. And I've actually gone through these things as well. There are also physical symptoms in terms of depression, such as feeling constantly tired, lethargic, you've got no energy, you've got no drive, and also sleeping patterns is highly impacted. You can't sleep. I remember when I suffered from depression, I suffered from insomnia because I couldn't actually get to sleep. And also you have no appetite. And you suffer from all sorts of aches and pains. I remembered I used to suffer from muscle spasms because of the stress and and my unhappiness at the time. And so these are physical signs that you are actually depressed. Now, depression can have an impact on anyone. Anyone can be impacted by depression, and I'm sure that we've read so many news reports on even celebrities, wealthy people, poor people, working class people. All sectors of society can actually be impacted by depression, and so you're not susceptible to this. It can be based on a combination of things. I remembered when I was diagnosed with depression like many years ago. It was due to my circumstances, and I'm thinking to myself, how on earth can I be depressed? Because I'm a positive person, I've got lots of energy, etc. And I remembered my counsellor at the time told me that it was because of my circumstances, and so your circumstances can actually impact your depression, or it could be clinically linked or genetically linked as well, because sometimes your parents, your family, it could be ancestral, it could be generational, and so there are many dynamics to depression. Now, depression can't be cast out you, because I know that some religious people that think that all they need to do is lay hands and cast out depression. That can't happen, because it's deep seated in many instances, and so it will take you going to some sort of therapy, some sort of counselling, in order to overcome your depression. I just want to share some things that I did in order to overcome depression. First of all, I think you need to accept the fact that you're actually depressed, and sometimes we're living in denial. We don't really want to actually face our fears, face our demons, and so we pretend that we're not depressed. We live a facade in front of people, a facade, and pretend that everything is all hunky dory, and yet we're actually suffering from depression. I think I remembered the first thing that I did. I mean, I like talking. I'm a communicator, so I enjoy talking, and so for me to discuss my issues with someone outside of my community or outside my household was okay. But I know that in many cultures, and particularly my culture, we were told not to discuss our business. We shouldn't talk about anything. You shouldn't put your dirty linen out in public. And so sometimes for our community, we suppress our feelings of depression, and we bear the brunt of our unhappiness in isolation. And this definitely will have an impact on your mental health if you continue to do that. And so, we have to sort of break the taboo in terms of depression, and we need to go for help. I had some positive and negative experiences in terms of talking about depression. I remembered talking to someone in the community about, my issues, and unfortunately they were not professional in terms of how they dealt with me. They chose to discuss my personal, dilemmas to other members of the community. And so I've had some, positive instances where I've actually spoken to a professional person outside of my community, outside of my family, that was able to actually support and help me. So signpost yourself to any given agencies that can support you. There's so many outlets out there, or you could actually, talk to a confidant of yours in the initial stages. But if it's a deep-seated depression, I think you do actually need some sort of professional help. Forgiveness is so key. First of all, you need to forgive yourself. Sometimes we beat ourselves up unnecessarily. I used to do that a lot. If you're a perfectionist and you set high standards for yourself, and sometimes you need to give yourself a break. And so it's very important to forgive yourself first. Forgive yourself first, and things don't have to actually be perfect. You're a human being, susceptible for failures. Just don't be too hard on yourself, and don't live a lie where you're just trying to look good in front of people and the community because you don't want to accept that you're depressed. So you must learn to forgive yourself. It's fine, because we're not perfect. We fall and we make mistakes, systematically, and it's just life. And so do not beat yourself up. Also, it's very important in terms of forgiveness is to forgive the perpetrator, the person that actually did you wrong. Very important to do that. And I can talk from personal experience. I've had so many people, in my community, outside my community, in my family, they do things to hurt you, some intentionally and some unintentionally. And so it's very important that you forgive them. And sometimes a part of forgiveness, sometimes you can actually write them a letter. You can actually go to see them if you like. You can post a letter, or you can write them a letter just to release your feelings of hopelessness and depression and your hurt, and just throw it away. So you don't necessarily have to see that person, but you can actually forgive that person in your heart, the person that's actually wronged you. You can actually forgive them and release them. Now, when you forgive someone, you don't necessarily have to have a relationship with them. It's your choice. You can actually decide to not have anything to do with them, just to keep them at a distance, or to have a relationship where you can set boundaries, where you tell them exactly how things are now, because of what they've done to you. It's important that you set boundaries to protect yourself from people that are going to be consistently hurting you, whether intentionally or not. So very important for you to forgive that person, because unforgiveness, it's going to weigh you down. It's going to burden you, because you're always going to remember the hurt, the wrong that person has done you. And so it's very important that you forgive and release them. Sometimes say a prayer, ask God to help you to forgive them if you can't, if you struggle with that. But it's very important to forgive them. And once you've done all that, I think it's very important to focus on yourself. Really focus on you. Sometimes we're so busy helping other people and we don't help ourselves. So it's very crucial, very fundamental that you focus on you. Focus on loving you. Focus on, treating yourself well, and detaching from negative and toxic people, toxic environments. That's not actually conducive to your happiness. It's okay, not to, associate with even, members of your family too often, and friends and people in the community. Look after you and focus on you first. It's very important that you do that. And so I hope these thoughts that I've shared has been beneficial for you. I just want to share something in terms of self-esteem and working on you and focusing on you. It's from this book called Honouring Self. It's an excellent book, and it's written by Nathaniel Branden, and it's excellent. I've had this for years. It's very good. Just want to share a thought to you. Um, I often see that the most radical transformation occurs after the client's realization that no one is coming to rescue them. Sometimes we're looking for a rescuer. No one's going to rescue you but yourself. You have to rescue yourself. While I was going through my depression, although I tapped into agencies that can support me, but ultimately I had to rescue myself because no one else was coming to rescue me. When I finally allowed myself to face fully my responsibility for my life, more than one client has said this to me. I began to grow, I began to change, and my self-esteem began to rise. We are ultimately responsible for ourselves. No one else is responsible for us. We can't blame people for our circumstances. We are ultimately responsible for ourselves, and when we take responsibility for ourselves, we begin to grow and develop. I am responsible for my choices and my actions, not responsible as the recipient of moral blame or guilt, but responsible as a chief causal agent in my life and my behaviour. So I'm responsible for my choices. Further, self-responsibility means acceptance of the basic aloneness and acceptance of responsibility for the attainment of my own goals. And so we can't play the blame game. We can't feel guilty for something that we've done. We have to take responsibility for our lives. And I hope that's helped. It's Angela Lee, and I'm talking and sharing about my thoughts and how I personally have overcome depression. Take care.